Hi, I'm Terry Farr, Executive Director for the Greater Picayune Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Chamber Conversations. Today I'm meeting with Ron Baumann. How you doing, Ron?
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Good. I'll let Ron get into more details in a minute, but Ron is the president of Baumann and Company. They have two locations, one here in Picayune and one in Slidell. I'm mainly familiar with the one here in Picayune, and because I used to work across the street from you. But Ron's office here in Picayune is at the corner of North Main and Goodyear Boulevard. So you get to hear that railroad,
Absolutely.
the train.
Occasionally people calling in ask us if we have to move over.
But Baumann and Company are a CPA firm, and again, they do a lot of different things, so he can get into that in a minute. But they are members of the Chamber of Commerce. You were on the board of directors at some point with the Chamber.
Yes, yes.
And they also are sponsors, one of our sponsors. So we appreciate what you do for the Chamber, what you do for the community. So, Ron, why don't you tell us who Ron Baumann is?
Well, I was raised in Florida, Tampa Bay area, Florida. Went to school, University of Florida. Graduated in 1968, which was, a difficult time. So I served 4 years in the Air Force as an officer in the United States Air Force. Left the Air Force in 1972, went to work for an international CPA firm in Florida, and then decided that Picayune, Mississippi was a better place to raise a family. And it really is. Picayune is a wonderful community, close to a lot of things on the Gulf Coast in New Orleans, and yet it's a nice, quiet community, and we've really enjoyed raising a family here.
So, you grew up and we're down in Florida. So, right. I mean, to say Picayune's a great place, and I moved here too. I didn't move from Florida, but what got you to move to Picayune, Mississippi?
Yeah, I've been asked that a number of times.
I bet.
Well, it was the time of the oil industry was blowing and going, and there was opportunities here. Coming from Florida, I was familiar with how communities can really grow. Unfortunately, shortly after coming here, about 3 or 4 years later, the oil industry sort of went into a huge slump. But we were able to maintain ourselves and grow, and so we've enjoyed it here.
So how long have you had your second business down in Slidell?
We've been in Slidell as long as we've been here, almost.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
I had a different partner at that time, but yes, we've been in Slidell a good while.
So how many CPAs totally are working between the two?
Currently, right now, we have 3, including myself.
Okay, good deal. Now, I mean, when I think of a CPA, I think of somebody doing my personal or
right.
business, tax returns, and I'll have to admit I cheated and I looked at your website, and y'all do a lot of different things. What would you say you mainly focus on? Is there, and again, having 3 CPAs, I guess you might do different things, but is there something y'all pretty much emphasize?
Well, the majority of our work is tax related for businesses and individuals, but probably the majority are businesses. And we do everything from financial consultation in businesses, tax planning for businesses, and of course for individuals, and estate planning. So we do a wide spectrum of things. We are actually our economic area that the firm does is here, the North Shore, all the way to Baton Rouge. We have clients, so pretty well diversified as to both states culture, and which
not but 30 minutes away, but it's different, isn't it?
It's different. It can be quite fascinating, but we have enjoyed it and been very comfortable doing it.
Well, that's good. So you mentioned the culture. Is there, I guess, tax code? There's probably not a whole lot of difference, but statewide, I mean,
yes.
what's the main difference you see between Louisiana and Mississippi?
Federal-wise, it's not really very different, but of course, Louisiana is a community property state, and they have different rules for estates. They have the concept of usufruct, and which is not an unheard of term here, and then so from a state standpoint, state income tax standpoint, corporate or individual, and from an estate standpoint, the states are quite different. But for federal purposes, they're not.
So if somebody wants to form a corporation, I mean, they're thinking about going in business for themselves, whether it's going to be, 2 or 3 people or one person, whatever. At what point do you think they need to come see a CPA or come see an attorney or get some advice or just go out there wild blindly?
That's an excellent question, and may sound a little self-serving, but you should go to the CPA first, and I will tell you why. We can give you the pros and cons of the different types of business, whether it be corporation, LLC, S corporation, and the tax considerations oftentimes are the key considerations.
Sure.
This is also particularly true now for 2018 because of the new Tax Cut and Jobs Act. We're already doing a lot of planning for our businesses to implement the provisions of this new tax act, which is quite different. And many of the planning opportunities, both for new corporations, new businesses, and old ones, we are doing a lot of work right now with them because what happens for 2018 and going forward is significantly different than it has been in 2017. So anyone who's in business should be contacting their CPA to work with them over these new provisions. They're quite different, quite complex.
So what about forming say a LLC? Is that something you can do, or do they need to see an attorney, or do they go on a website, or what do you recommend? Let me put it that way. I know what you can do, but what do you recommend?
We evaluate with them what type of entity they should be. Typically now it's a limited liability company, LLC, and then they can go to an attorney to have that done, or in some cases they can do it themselves. We tend to recommend going to an attorney to get the ground rules. We cannot do it. We're not attorneys, so we don't do the formation. We just advise.
Okay. So what have I not asked you that we need to talk about?
Well, we've covered quite a few things. We do have a website, bowmanandcompany.com, which has a lot of tools on it that people can use, and that can help you in areas of college planning and all kinds of areas.
And you got a website. I mean, not a website. You got a Facebook page out there.
Yes,
so
we
I'm
do.
sure you manage that, huh?
Right. I do not manage that. They're still educating me. And a lot of people ask me why at my age I don't retire, which was, I'm sure, the question you were going to get around to. But I am very fortunate. The one great thing about being in business for yourself, nobody can fire you. But I have a great staff, a very great staff, highly intelligent, easy to get along with, and they make my life easy. And I enjoy working with them and the clients. I've really enjoyed the clients, so I cannot imagine retiring.
Yeah. Well, since you're just a little bit older than me, so how old would you be if you didn't know how old you were?
45.
There you go. So most people don't retire for another at least 20 years or so, huh?
I may have exaggerated a little bit.
That's all right. I say 28, so I exaggerate a lot. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything. And you do have a great staff. I mean, truly do have great staff, and great location, great website, Facebook, everything. So y'all check it out. Come. If you want to come visit Ron, I highly recommend if you're going to visit with Ron or Mache to Mache Ash.
Yes.
I'd call and book an appointment instead of just showing up. I think anybody would do that.
We
But
do
have
need
common sense to do that. But I appreciate you letting me come over, and thanks for everything that y'all do. Appreciate.
Well, before we go, I want to
that.
make just one comment that
Sure.
that you have done a great job with the chamber.
Well, I
and,
appreciate
it's
that.
been a significant change ever since you've been here this short period of time. So I look forward to seeing you around a long time.
I'll be following you.
Okay.
Appreciate it. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hope y'all enjoyed this. If you did, please like it, share it. It'll be on our website. Well, it's already out there on our website, Facebook. Well, this one's not on there, but it'll be on our website and Facebook, and we'll be sharing it. So, and if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. Thank you very much, and make it a great day.
Thank you.